Each month, myself and other Irrational Passions members will play through a new game. Modern to retro, obscure to popular. Games we've played before and those we haven't. We'll be hitting checkpoints as we go and discussing our experiences. Play along with us and join in the discussion. This is Video Game Book Club. Welcome, everybody, back to Video Game Book Club. I am your host, Scott, and in this season finale of both Video Game Book Club and the finale of our Luigi's Mansion discussion, I am joined tonight by Guardian at Arms from Destiny 2, Mr. Alex O'Neill. How's it going?
Hi.
That wasn't as smooth as I was going for, but we'll roll.
I understood it. I like that you followed up with the Destiny. Like, this is what this is from. But I got it. I'm here to bust ghosts.
It's a good one with a vacuum cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Miss Jessica is currently in New Jersey at a wedding of one of the OKB's guys, so she wasn't able to join us tonight. But we'll jump right off the bat. We'll just get this going. It's Sunday night.
We're cruising.
Alex just got done with a 7-hour stream of Destiny.
Yeah.
I recorded
I'm feeling it.
A 2-hour discussion on Phantasy Star Universe or Phantasy Star Online with a Mr. Eric Sapp from IGN and Heavy Strike, and been writing a lot today. So it's been a long day for both of us.
We're busy, but there ain't no better time to talk about Luigi and Mansions.
Yeah. Ending it on a good note. Nice, chill Luigi's Mansion discussion. But yes, we kick off from last week where we played up through the Boulassus fight. From tonight, we will be discussing from then until the end of the game. So really only a single act, because there's only 4 acts in this game, and we played up through the end of Act 3 last time. So,
yeah,
Alex, there's not really tons to talk about. It was just find some ghosts. We got some more of the unique ghosts.
Power goes out. That's a problem.
And find booze.
Yeah.
Until you can fight the final boss. And that's pretty much the extent of the story aspect of it. Now I have to know, Alex, having finished this again, can you define if Luigi is indeed the villain?
No. Again, I've been thinking about it. It's funny because we've been preparing for this. I was preparing for this episode, and while I was playing through the game of like what we talked about, Luigi being the bad guy, I definitely stand by what I said last episode of the boos have taken these paintings, they've manipulated these ghosts into things that they are not, into these troublemakers that I don't think that they are at their core. So I think Luigi is just kind of recentering everybody. He's helping everybody get back to what they were and what they liked being. And Mario included in that, who is a person who got turned into a painting, which sounds like a terrible process.
Oh, it sounds very painful.
I don't know how Boo did that. That's the one, like, lore-wise. We don't know how King Boo got Mario into a painting.
Shout out to King Boo, though, for, like, beating Mario. Like, he conquered Mario. Like,
he whooped his ass. We just didn't get to see any of that.
No. That would have been cool.
Not.
That would have been cool, like, pre-order bonus or something where you got to...
It's a GameCube blue, like, DVD disc that just has a video on it. That tells you, that shows you the story.
Of Mario.
Yeah, the Mario's Great Fall.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like King Boo though. He's like a good villain for Luigi's Mansion, and like the Boos as like a whole are just one of many Mario villains. Like they don't. For me, I don't think they had like a particular strong holding outside of like getting into the creepy cage level in Mario 64. Like the Boos didn't have their own thing, and it feels like this is like they're the main bad guys in this, and that's kind of cool. I think that's establishing more Mario characters as like central figures is cool.
I think my favorite ghost that I encountered, like the specific to this game, was the Shy Guy ripoff ghosts, because they didn't quite look. They weren't Shy Guys, but they were like homages to them. I just thought they were cute. I thought that that's clever.
Yeah, they were fun. And this like vacuuming off their little masks and everything. Yeah, I know you had more problems when you had to like when it became like fetch quest time to clean up, get all these
Yeah,
booze. When you got to the end and it told you had to get more booze, like where were you at?
I think I had about 38. No, I had 38, so I had like 12 to go. So it wasn't a ton, but at the same time, when you get to only having to find a few, it's like
Yeah.
that's when it gets super annoying because you have to check every room. And
Yeah, and there's the trouble is that one doorway that you always have to go around
yes,
that
on the
goes
second
upstairs.
floor.
There's a way to get a key for that door, and I always forget how to do it. It's like an extra thing that you have to do.
And what made it annoying, besides that door, because that is total bullshit,
Yeah.
was how one of the ghosts I was encountering, like, I think it was also on the second floor, where you could only access the other side of the wall by going around the long way or going through that locked door.
Yeah.
And they just kept going back and forth between the two zones, like in that would separate the wall that would separate those two areas. So
Yeah.
every time he did it, and it was like a 200 or so point boo. And it was like I ran back and forth that long route like 5 times, and it's like I'm not having fun with this. Like,
Yeah.
this is just annoying. And if it had been like you need 40 of them, you don't need every single one. You needed just a bunch of them in order to progress, kind of like how they did the stars on the Super Mario 64, stuff like that. You didn't need every star. You only needed so many to get to the final boss. I don't think I would have had so much of an issue with it, but it was just having to be forced to find all 50 with no real good indication on the map where they could be still. Like when a room would light up if you had cleared it, I think, but it wouldn't change color again if you collected a boo in that area. So it was just
the map doesn't color code to like if you've 100%ed that area,
which could have saved me a lot of time and frustration. And I think going back to a bit of what I said in the last episode, where there's no real sense of like upgrades or progression for Luigi.
Yeah.
Where even though I'm getting all this money and I'm collecting all these boos, it was just like the only payoff was just to be able to get to the end of the game, which I like the mechanic. Like, if it just had done capture the spooky ghosts that you had to like figure out how to catch them, it would be so much better.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And I think that's like the big. Those are the old video game parts of Luigi's Mansion that I think stick out now. Is like lack of progression, the collectible currency that has like no real impact on anything. I guess it determines your score at the end, which like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I know if you have a higher score, if you get a better grade at the end, it shows a bigger mansion that Luigi's house has. Do you remember what grade you got?
I think I got like a B.
I got an E. I don't know what I did wrong.
I think for me, it was just because I kept going back and forth so many times trying to find boos. I would still just suck up money or check out urns and things like that.
Yeah,
that
I think it took
I would
too
just
long.
get more money and find random gems and things like that. So
when I was playing through it, I knew I had to get all the boos, so I had all 49 before I got to that final room, like even before I went there for the first time with the key. But most of my lost time was trying to find boos before the first episode when I said I got lost a lot and I was walking around a lot. So like I think most of the time that you put in for this one, I put in last week, or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, it's weird because it's like a 20-year-old video game. But I think those things stand out more because I think the core loop of Luigi's Mansion is so good. Like it could be a modern video game in a lot of ways. With how it rewards you, how colorful it is, how well designed it is. It just like has No, nothing changes between the beginning of that game and the end of that game, really. Even those elemental things that you get, you don't have to use on like the final boss or any of the bosses for the most part.
Yeah,
So.
it was a cool idea that really didn't get realized, or I think they could have done a lot more with it, where even the elemental ghosts I feel rarely popped up.
Yeah.
So it was a interesting idea for a mechanic that was never realized, and that bugged me a bit.
Yeah,
That
it's a bummer.
Bummed me out more than it bugged me.
Yeah, I think it's when you just get a better grasp on like the scope of the game, of how kind of short it is, which is like I think most people of the time, that was their major complaint with Luigi's Mansion, was how it's very short. You just pop it in your mouth, swallow, you're done. Just like a little gobstopper.
Fun weekend romp. I mean, for the time, good weekend game. Rent it or something, play with your friends, and then you're good.
Good October game.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm curious, like, so when you think of like Luigi and his own franchise, now that you've played this, like, do you like this as like Luigi's kind of jam, or would you rather see him do other stuff?
I mean, I'm fine with him having this as his shtick. I think it's an interesting enough concept, and it's a far enough departure from your typical Mario platforming kind of game that this plays really well to and shows off his character. So I'm totally fine with this being Luigi's series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have started. I picked up Dark Moon, so I am.
Oh, nice.
I have started that. So I'm anxious to kind of sink more time into that when I can, and so I'm all ready for Luigi's Mansion 3, because but without my, like, even though I have my complaints like with the boo and the weird non-progression or growth associated with this game, I really love the concept. I loved kind of the wackiness of it. I loved all that, and I'm excited to see how it progressed, especially from going from having just played the first one into the second one with such a big time gap between. I'm anxious to see what all they improved in that one. And then at the end of the month, how much they've grown from Dark Moon into Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, and I'm the thing, like, because we talked about it last night on Irrational Passions podcast, and Scott Guthier has played Dark Moon, and he described it as like a lot of the progression parts about Luigi's Mansion are just totally gone, right? Like, it is just the core gameplay, and then it's kind of like a scoring, like trying to get the top score. More so, I think it like leans more into those arcadey aspects of this first one, which is a bummer. Which is why I'm like, I think I'm just gonna wait until, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I kind of want to play Dark Moon now. Like, I want to see what the one other game like this is like right now. But it seems like 3 is, it being contained to one building, right, is a big part of why I like Luigi's Mansion. Like, you're kind of unfolding this location as you go through it.
It's that Resident Evil vibe that we were talking about last time. Like, instead of the Raccoon Mansion, it's Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that's the thing, honestly. Like, I know it's like it would be a weird take for any kind of Mario property to go in, but I would love to see that in Luigi's Mansion, of like more context for the location that I'm in, right? Like, in this game, it's just some fucking mansion that just popped out of nowhere. And whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not like a real place, or it's just made by the ghosts. But I would love like a location that actually had like kind of a story, and like a silly Mario story of like, they've done it in the Mario and Luigi games of like having boos and ghosts and like fun, very comically written like hauntings, as opposed to like actually scary hauntings.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be great for it. And I really hope there's I want to be able to upgrade the poltergust or kind of equip it with different things. Like,
that's
different vacuum attachments seem like such a no-brainer because they already exist. And what crazy thing could they do with those?
Yeah. I think making Luigi's Mansion like full-on Metroidvania is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in the same way that an actual Metroidvania is, but in the way that like a Resident Evil 2 remake is.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, now that you have this power, not only can you use this in combat, but you can also use it to get through this kind of obstacle, or get up to this platform, or these kinds of jumps or something like this game doesn't even have a jump, but something that will let you jump to get to new areas would be cool.
Yeah, like have him point the hose against the ground and turn on the shoot button or whatever.
The reverse vacuum.
Yeah, the reverse vacuum, and just like have him hover or something like that. There's so many cool things you could do with a vacuum that the lack of any real adjustment to the vacuum is almost disappointing.
It's weird, right?
It's like
you hang out with Egad after each act, and he's like, "Yeah, I got nothing else for you, dude. Just go get some ghosts."
It's like he's this giant inventor, but we don't see him invent. It's missed opportunity. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, that's the resounding feeling, I think, of just like, I love Luigi's Mansion for what it is, but like by a modern standard, I think it feels like it's missing a lot that a video game should have.
Yeah, I'm curious how I would have viewed it if I had gotten it with my GameCube the year that Christmas it came out and everything, but I got Smash and Metroid Prime, and I had never played Luigi's Mansion up until Book Club, so I don't know how well, as a concept and kind of the core game loop, I think it's held up fairly well, but the actual execution of it, I don't think has. But I am very excited for Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, the idea of like a modern one of these, like one coming out right around the corner, is really cool. Yeah. Like, playing this now is certainly giving me that itch for a good Luigi's Mansion game.
Yeah.
And hearing what I've heard about Dark Moon, it feels like they still have yet to deliver that. So if Luigi's Mansion 3 is that, absolutely.
That'd be great.
It's also weird that Luigi's Mansion 2 is just called Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Is it?
I don't think there's a 2 in it. It's like, look at the menu.
Yeah, it's just Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
It's weird, right?
And then they went just with Luigi's Mansion 3 for this new one.
Yeah, just 3, no subtitle.
Make up your minds, Nintendo.
They knew Dark Moon was weird. We didn't talk about, last episode, we didn't talk about the dedicated Mario button.
Yes, we did not.
Which is the A button. The biggest button on the controller. Just yells, Mario! So
what
funny.
A cool idea, you know?
What a great dumb thing. It's like no one would do that except Kojima and Nintendo.
Yeah.
Did you spam it at all?
Oh yeah.
Throughout the game? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Running down the halls just yelling Mario is so fun. Yeah. There's so much in Luigi's Mansion that is such a like childhood wonderment payoff of like being able to walk around a spooky mansion by yourself, and like yell and make noise and fight ghosts, like this weird kind of fighting back this giant mansion. It's like Haunted House, or what, Monster House. That's what it's called. Only the house doesn't eat you.
And how far we've come where we've literally seen Luigi fight and be killed by death. You know?
Yeah. And he was wearing the poltergust while he was doing it, so essentially that's Luigi's Mansion canon.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
That would be such a cool DLC thing for Luigi's Mansion 3. If you could like visit Castlevania.
Oh my god. Would you be fighting the regular enemies as well and just trying to suck them up?
Yeah.
And Medusa goes by and you just pull the hair into the vacuum.
Yeah.
Snakeheads. That'd be good.
That'd be so cool. And like when you're fighting death or something, you have to like suck on his cloak or something and like catch him that way. And then you like spin him around so he's all like confused or dizzy, and then you have to try and suck him up or something with the poltergust.
A Luigi's Mansion. A Smash Brothers game that's actually just Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of different stages
or whatever.
From all these different video games. Going through the castle from Street Fighter. Only it's haunted. The moon's haunted, so in theory, anything can be haunted.
Haunted and made out of cheese.
Yeah.
True story.
Well, I'm not as sure about the cheese.
You
But
don't know the Vex. They might be. Who
they're
is the
slowly
big main enemy of? It's Vex, isn't it? Of Shadowkeep.
Vex is the kind of main enemy of the season, but the main enemy of Shadowkeep is the Hive.
Okay.
And the darkness. Always enemy. Always present enemy.
Man, I feel bad for the darkness. Always getting the bad rap and always the bad guy.
Sometimes the darkness is messed up. Hey, play Tales of Berseria.
It's true. Well, that's malevolence.
Yeah, but you're the bad guy.
That's true.
Is it malevolence, just darkness, or it's just that the bad rap that darkness gets?
It's just purple, so people assume it's the darkness.
Yeah, that's what it is. I wonder if like my like the one thing that I wish they had done something with, like more interesting with, is like when the power goes out in Luigi's Mansion. It's this whole long section where every room becomes unsafe again, and they almost make you think that you're gonna have to go through everything again and take it back. But like at some point, you just, I think, realize that you just gotta keep going through the rooms because enemies will keep coming back. But it's cool. Like I like having to go down to the break room and trying to like turn the power back on. It's just like it feels very. It happens kind of out of nowhere, but it feels like they just kind of did it, right? Like they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the ideas in Luigi's Mansion just kind of suffer from like a lot of video games now being a lot more complicated and layered upon layered mechanics. So a lot of the things in Luigi's Mansion is like they did this, they just didn't do anything with it, like the elemental stuff.
Almost half-baked in a way. It's like, because it was a launch title, feeling that had they been given more time and not had to have it be a launch title, they could have explored a lot of these mechanics a lot more, or maybe added things that had been cut.
Maybe, or like I don't necessarily take it that it's half-baked. It just seems like they didn't. This was like very much an experiment. Like this feels like a small team made this game, and they were just trying kind of weird stuff out. And that's why I think a lot of the ideas are just like there, but they're very simple, right? You can kind of understand them all in one encounter or whatever. But yeah, how did you feel about the power outage moment?
I like the idea behind it. Like, as you were saying, how everything that you thought was safe was no longer safe and you were about to get swarmed. I kind of wish... It was a few times I got caught kind of in a stun loop where I just kept being punched by a ghost and knocked into a wall, and then by the time I got back up again, I was being hit by another one, so that was a little annoying. But it would have been cool if they had done something a bit more interesting with it than just flipping a switch and the lights coming back on.
Yeah. Finding the dude hiding in the wardrobe room.
Yeah.
The guy that doesn't like the lights, so he only comes out when it's spooky and dark.
I thought, like, see, and that's why I really like that aspect of Luigi's Mansion. I love that kind of puzzle boss kind of mechanic where you have to figure out each ghost's weakness to make them basically let you suck them up, and their own personalities that come through. Like the toy soldiers and everything you had to suck up, or the baby you had to shoot with water to like annoy him. So in the upside down room.
Yeah. The little girl.
Yeah.
that did not want to wet the bed, so she was trying not to, and then you pour water over it.
Yeah.
Super mean.
But that's the aspect I really like about this game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the other stuff that I feel missed the mark. And it's difficult because, like you said, we're playing this 20 years after. I'm playing this almost 20 years after it originally came out, having not played it before.
Yeah.
So I only have it from the view of what I've experienced up until this point. I don't have those nostalgic goggles.
Yeah, it's one of those things too of like those moments where they're telling stories with the world and the characters in it. Those are, of course, are going to be the most interesting, right? And I think like it's funny to have seen Nintendo change a lot from this point to now.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of their games are better about telling stories with worlds. Because we think like this game is coming right off of like Mario 64 still to some extent, right? Not one to one, but like Ocarina of Time, like all these things that had big 3D spaces, but they didn't know what to do with them yet. So that's why I think if they again take this concept and apply it today, I think a Nintendo of today could do it so well. Just like absolutely building the hype machine for Luigi's Mansion 3.
And I think that's what makes it so exciting about Luigi's Mansion 3, because it is such a different Nintendo, and you have all the work they did into fleshing out the worlds in Super Mario Odyssey. You know, what can they do with Luigi's Mansion, the ghost sucking the candy and stuff.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Yeah, especially like even stuff like Breath of the Wild and whatnot. Like they've obviously gotten better at building worlds and interconnected worlds. It's maybe why they should just make a Metroid game and just see what happens.
Yeah, and you know, just in the meantime, release the Metroid Prime trilogy Switch ports.
Yeah, you know, do something. Figure the controls out. You got this. At least the first 2 games you could do it. Third one, I don't know what you would do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound too down on Luigi's Mansion. I still had a lot of fun with it, even if it was like a little tedious at times.
It's one of those games that's it's a really good concept of a series. Like, it's a good first game of a new series.
Yeah.
It does a lot of cool things. It doesn't nail everything, which a lot of things don't. Kind of like Assassin's Creed. First one was a really cool proof of concept that didn't nail everything.
Most things.
But it grew and became a really good series, a staple of past generation or 2 consoles.
Yeah.
And it's that same feeling where Luigi's Mansion, I had a lot of fun with parts of it. I had a lot of not fun parts with other aspects of it. But with where we are now and what Nintendo is now, what their design practices are today, I'm much more excited than I was prior to playing Luigi's Mansion. Or Luigi's Mansion 3.
It's a cute game, you know, like it is. There are so few games I think that go for the same tone that this does, right? Like in a way that is so accessible, right? Like I think there are games geared toward younger audiences or that just happen to not have any like explicit aspects to it, so it's kind of accessible to people, a la like a Fortnite or something. But this has such
Did you hear Fortnite's dead?
Yeah, I heard Fortnite blew up.
And did you see the new trailer or poster for Dr. Dolittle?
Oh my god. Don't I legitimately, my stomach just dropped and then I remembered you were probably watching when that happened.
Yeah, I was watching.
Oh my god.
You laughed so hard.
Nothing could have prepared me for that moment. But yeah, I think it just is so like cute is maybe a little reductive, but like it's jolly, you know. It's so fun. Luigi going on a spooky adventure.
It's charming.
It charms the hell out of me. And that moment, like at the end, when you finally save Mario, is like genuinely really heartwarming. Where Luigi, the first thing he does, like he's so aghast, and then he starts crying, which is like so sweet because it's oh my, Luigi went through all this. Yeah, one, I'm the hero, but also like he clearly just loves his brother so much. And it's just a very touching moment. And then he just laughs so hard at him because he looks stupid. It's so fun. It's such a real moment that I wouldn't believe Nintendo would have written it, especially in 2000. Yeah. But it's great. Yeah, I love it.
It's a good one.
What would you score it today?
Score today, I'd probably do a 7.
I'd probably give it 7.0. I'm with you. Good game. Could have used more of it. But there's like a whole new game plus that is like harder, and I think things are shifted around to some extent. Maybe you do the rooms in a different order. There's something different about like the post game, other than it's just harder.
That's cool.
But that's cool. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I don't really want to play it again. I don't want, as charming as it is. Actually, I might try it on the 3DS.
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
I think I would try it on there because I'm pretty sure at this point in Nintendo's development and everything, they probably have put an option to turn off inverted controls.
Maybe. I wouldn't
would
be so
probably
sure
replay
about
this
that
game
one.
just so I wouldn't have to do inverted controls.
Yeah. I'm just curious if like they changed the map up at all to make it a little bit more clear where the
Yeah, I'm curious. I'll look it up.
where
right
the
now.
enemies are. The Luigi's Mansion 3DS port does support the Circle Pad Pro.
I do have the new 3DS XL with the little nub. So.
Oh, with the little nub. I've never had the nub.
Oh yeah.
The game can be played multiplayer. I didn't know that. Maybe we should have played the 3DS version. You can play as Luigi in their 3DS remake.
Oh really? Oh, you can. And it has the
There's
little map associated with it.
There's a boss rush mode, which is cool.
It has a boo radar.
There you go. Well, I mean, you have the boo radar as is, but hopefully it's better. Luigi can go back to the lab anytime.
Wait, there's a boo radar?
Yeah, the little beeping light on
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
very
okay.
basic. It's just lets you know that if one's in the room.
Okay. I thought it was like a map or something. Like I could pull up and it pointed me towards boo. So it's like, God damn it.
The Hidden Mansion apparently got a lot of changes in this version.
Oh really?
Did you find the secret room?
Where you drop down from the top of the right,
Yeah.
or the smokestack chimney.
Yeah.
I did.
It's cool. I always like that part.
That was a cool part, and it was just rich, and there was tons of money and stuff in it.
See, there were still some rooms that I never went into. The thing I remember, I feel like, and maybe I'm totally wrong, and I just imagine this, or it's a different game, but I feel like you could, with the little camera that you had, you could take a picture of a mouse hole, and it would suck Luigi into the mouse hole and take him to the room on the other side. That might be a different game, or that might be something else. But I feel like that is totally...
That would be really cool.
In this game. So there might be rooms that you can only get into that way. But yeah, it's cool. I didn't know that they added so much stuff to the 3DS version.
It's a darker, more sinister game on first look.
And you can skip cutscenes in the
Nice.
3DS version, which is good. So I died on the final boss, and I had to go watch that whole cutscene again. What did you think of the Bowser fight? We didn't even talk about that.
I liked it. I like the boss fights, like the main boss, the act boss fights. I thought were cool. But I still came back to I like kind of the little personal ghosts better.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of the Bowser fight. I had too much trouble with it.
I had trouble with the boss. I had the most trouble with was Boolossus.
Really? Okay, yeah. I had
Mostly
trouble
because I had a really hard time freezing the mini boos.
Yeah, I had some trouble with them. And the thing is like the triggers on the GameCube controllers are weird. In that, like, if you click it, it just shoots out like a little projectile of your element. But if you hold it, then you do the spray. But sometimes you do the shot when you mean to do the spray, and it doesn't work out. But yeah, I don't know. The boss fights are okay. It's like a lot of them have you grabbing spherical objects and shooting them at the boss to stun and then suck them up, including the final boss. So it's just kind of bummer that is so
very
revisited.
formulaic. Do the thing 3 times or however many times, and then you win.
Yeah, I appreciated that King Boo was just like 500 health, and you had to figure that out. It wasn't like based on the 3 rounds or anything, like most Nintendo bosses are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still cool. I like, again, I want a bigger, better, more badass version of this game. I want the Gears of War 2 of Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I hear that. You played this back when it came out, didn't you? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I watched my brother play it the first time, and then I played it myself a few years later.
Keylog says, this is the only game... Luigi's Mansion is the only game that you can say, suck Luigi into a mouse hole. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't think about that too much. Maybe I should have. But yeah, suck Luigi in a mouse hole. I definitely had a room at the end, though, I will say. I forgot to mention where I was going back and forth between two rooms to slowly, just agonizingly, slowly chip away at a boo's health.
Yeah.
And it was like a hallway and then a room. Then I would get like 30, and he had, I think, 400 health or something. He was like the one with the most outside of the King Boo. Ugh. Just killed me. It was brutal.
Just the back and forth was just annoying. It's like...
Yeah, we go in this room. And it does the little cutscene where it zooms in on the Boo's face every single time. He's like, yeah. Luckily, they didn't go and hide in objects ever again.
That's true. That is true.
What do you think Jess thought of this game?
I'm thinking she really digs it because she picked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd imagine this definitely seems like a Jessica game.
Yeah.
You know, it's charming, it's cute, and does a lot of fun little things, and Luigi's cool, so I think she liked it. What do we think her score would be? I'm gonna say 8.
I'll say 7.5.
7.5? Okay.
I feel like she's closer to us. I think I do that every time I'm on book club. I don't know if everyone else does.
Everyone does, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's how we end things.
Yeah. Luigi Mansion, great video game.
Play it.
Good video game. I would say it's worth a play if you've never played it.
Get the 3DS version, though. I don't think it's worth playing necessarily on GameCube.
Yeah. Maybe especially if the controls are all messed up for you. I am an inverted player.
Like, even up to the very end, I couldn't get past, like, I was still having issues with the inverted controls of the C-Stick.
Never not inverted. Issues. I live this life. This is who I am 100% of the time, so. I
do inverted on, like, flight games. Like Ace Combat, things like that, it can do inverted controls. And I think at one point when I was younger, I did inverted in GoldenEye, but that was in my younger days.
Be lucky that it didn't ruin you forever, like Halo did for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was like playing Halo 2 with my brother and his friends, and one of his friends, Pry, had his controls inverted, and I picked up the controller to step in as him, and it changed my fate forever.
Oh, the destined moment.
Yeah, so like inversion is like literally a virus. It spreads from one person to another. It's infectious.
Oh, that would be
cool.
Awful.
I'm all hyped up for Luigi's Mansion 3 now. I'm peaked.
I am definitely ready for it. Keylog doesn't want you to spread your inversion disease to him either. So
it's too late. I've already got my eyes on you.
Yeah, just by watching this, you're already contaminated.
Yeah, you're inverted.
If you're listening to this, you're contaminated as well. So.
Yeah, I've ruined you. So that's the first season of book club, Scott. How you feel?
Feeling good. There's some things I might want to adjust for season 2, but I'm looking forward to it. I've had a great time. I've enjoyed
It's been super fun. It's weird that we're gonna take like 2 months off now.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it might be great for you.
I've stretched myself a little thin the past few weeks, so come like November and December, I'm going to drastically cut back on things, and I'm prepping for that, so I'm excited, but I'm anxious to see what really good advice Mr. Jarrett Green can provide to me, and I hope I don't go through too many boxes of tissues when he makes me cry.
Jarrett doesn't make you cry, he makes you better.
He does. Pain
makes us all better.
Pain makes you feel better eventually.
My thing is
working, right? That's
the pain means it's working. I feel like Jarrett and I might be the closest, but that means he's way more vicious with me. So like every time I read his notes, I'm like, fuck, I'm fucking up, dude. I gotta step up.
I genuinely take screenshots every time he says like LOL or that's good or just like the little comments, and I read them when I'm feeling down.
Those are big compliments.
They are. But what, as editor-in-chief of Irrational Passions, what do you think about the first season of Video Game Book Club?
It's great. I'm not gonna like put you on blast here or anything. No, it's good. I like my feeling is, and I've talked to you guys briefly about it, but like I think some of our best stuff is when we have more specific conversations about things. Like that's why I like review discussions. That's why I like this show. That's why I like Irrational Passions podcast. Right, those are my favorite things to do, or have like one-on-one conversations with people. And this fits into that really well because it lets us revisit games, lets us play games for the first time, like gives us an excuse to all play a game. Like, so if it's something that I've wanted to play for a while, like I really like the idea of like I'm doing this for book club, so I have a reason to play it, and then I get to have like a really in-depth conversation. Like I think there are certainly games where it's like I don't know if I have a lot to say about this, but I think it's good that we challenge ourselves to have something to say about everything that we play. Maybe not the healthiest mentality, but like we, are people that talk about video games. We want to talk about video games in a way where we are supported by it, right? Yeah. So I think stepping up to the plate, stepping up to the challenge, and really owning that game of that month or that part for book club, and even if you're not as into it, if you are having trouble like liking it or finding the words as to why you don't like it, like actually trying to get that feeling out and talking through it.
Yeah.
It's constructive. I think it makes us better, and I think it'll make us have better conversations. So I really like that part about it. Like the stuff about Thimbleweed Park, of like the things that stood out to me as someone who likes adventure games versus you guys, and like revisiting Arkham Asylum, obviously it was a big deal. There's just a lot of surprises I've had along the way.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
It has. I've loved that we've had people playing through games that they haven't played before. And kind of
especially you, Scott. I feel like you've played the most new games of everybody.
And expanding their views into games and series and all sorts of things. Thimbleweed, I've never been a big adventure game fan. Having to play through Thimbleweed and enjoying kind of the back and forth with that and how I felt going through that, and your take on the different puzzles and how if you didn't have hints on it, or if you did the hard difficulty, it had like changed up the game entirely,
completely. Yeah.
My play style in BioShock 2, rubbing people the wrong way was hilarious. Still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
George having the epiphany on the combat in Batman Arkham Asylum and having that kind of open his eyes to that, and learning how to pronounce his name right. That was a big deal for me.
A lot has happened in book club.
Oh, yeah, it has.
This was like your first big pitch of a project, Irrational Passions. So I love that we like followed through with it all the way to this point, and then we're gonna just make it better and keep going.
What is, with the exception of Tales of Vesperia, what's one game you would want to be on season 2, regardless of length? What game would you want to make or to have people from IP play through?
I've had a few ideas because I've been thinking about it. The game I want people to play through, I've been playing through Super Paper Mario recently, and it makes me want everyone to play Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. Which would be a tough one. That would be super great, but it would be a tough one.
That's one game I've always wanted to play, but I haven't.
I know for a fact.
I played and beaten the first Paper Mario because it was on Virtual Console. Yes. And I played some of Super Paper Mario, and I like that kinda, but way too much text and talking.
Yeah, Super Paper Mario is pretty wordy. Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door is definitely the wordiest of them, but it's also an RPG, so it makes a little bit more sense.
Right.
Yeah, I've been thinking about Paper Mario a lot. I I like the idea of us all playing a bad game together. Like maybe not going as deep down the rabbit hole as Sonic 06 is. I know, dude. I know.
What made Sonic 06 so bad was it was 5 fucking episodes.
Yeah,
It was too long.
it was so long. So like something like Donkey Kong 64 or something like absurd. Like that's maybe not as bad or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like Banjo and Kazooie, like them being kind of brought back a lot recently, playing through the first or second one of those. Or playing more games. I want to play more stuff that I haven't played before. Because I liked getting to the end of the first episode, like that part of the game, and coming into book club, still not knowing how it's going to end. Which I don't know if I played. I guess Thimbleweed Park was that game for me this season. So
yeah, it was. I have to say, my favorite episodes of season 1 have been the ones where I don't know what's going to happen, especially like Dead Space 2. I really like some of the discussions since you guys had played it previously and I hadn't. Hearing what you guys were saying in reference to the first game, especially returning to the Ishimura, I think was the previous game's ship, and you guys, how excited you got seeing areas from the first game and remembering what happened there, or me having no idea what was going on, and you're like, oh, just wait. Those were that was a lot of fun for me. It's like me not knowing, but seeing you guys and you talk about it got me hyped to play and finish it. And
all of us realizing that BioShock 2 is actually bad. That was like a really great moment too. Of like, oh, okay, like this is how this ended, huh?
Yeah.
But like playing the DLC and all of us really liking it. So.
Quinn not liking Super Hot in our special one-off episode. Strangely, he wasn't into it, and it's like, really, that's interesting. But that was a fun one.
What's a game that you want everybody to play?
Ooh, I'd kind of like to do Earthbound.
Earthbound would be great. I've never played it.
I think I think the writing in that's fantastic, and it's just kind of fun and zany and stuff. It's not too bad of a length RPG, I feel, but it's been a while.
I think I would love Earthbound. I'm worried that I missed the time to play it because I don't really like turn-based games anymore. At this point in my life, I just don't.
Yeah.
So if I play it now, I just bounce off of it because it's another turn-based RPG. But who knows? Yeah, we'll see. The world is our oyster. We got a fun list of games that we had. Like each of us had a group of games for this season. We still got lots left over on that, but I would also like it, and this I'm sure one of the ideas we'll talk about when we relaunch book club in 2020. But like, I would love to do a game that comes out like that year. I would love to do a book club of like The Last of Us Part 2 or of Final Fantasy 7 or something.
Yeah. No, I would be totally open for something like that. Keelox suggested Undertale. I know there's a bunch of us that haven't played Undertale.
Undertale is like one that we wanted to do like a let's play idea for, but book club might be a better fit.
Yeah, Undertale's been one of those things we've had a lot of ideas for. I know you and Quinn had talked about doing like you were kind of going alongside Quinn in his first playthrough and things like that. I know that's been talked around and kind of brought up and hasn't materialized yet, but could be something we could incorporate into a book club, or who knows, all sorts of other things. But doing a new game, or one thing I really want to do is incorporate a guest. Maybe having from other sites, maybe an OKB Sky, maybe Eric from Heavy Strike, maybe who knows who. But do like maybe another couple one-off episodes like we did with Super Hot, or like a two-parter, and incorporate more guests, because having done RPGU now and having recorded 8 episodes now, each with a different guest, having new people come in and just talk about things I've really enjoyed. So incorporating that aspect into game book club would be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. And maybe more one-offs, or like a tighter schedule or something, like, yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that we'll figure out. But like, I love this show. Like, I want anybody who listens to it to know that I really love these conversations. So,
well, I love having these conversations with you, sir, and the support that you and the rest of the senior staff and everyone else at IP has given this show and my crazy ideas has meant a lot. So, and the fact that we've done this for a year now, and we're
over a year.
Yeah, over a year now, and looking at season 2 and got a bunch of ideas. And I'm very excited. So everybody look forward to all the crazy stuff coming in season 2. We'll probably have an announcement coming early January is my guess. We would have an announcement with a start time around January, February. So that's what I'm currently planning. So
cool.
But yes, everybody. Alex, of course, where can people find you on the internet? What do you got cooking? Plug away.
Alfighter27 on Twitter. Listen to Irrational Passions podcast every Saturday. YouTube.com. Irrational Passions. 7:30 Eastern time, 4:30 Pacific usually. And just listen to it. You can also listen to it on Tuesdays when it goes out. But I'm working on. I wrote something about Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, that I'm really proud of.
It's good. It's very good.
I don't know if you've read it.
Yes.
I like it a lot. It needs a little bit of work. There are a couple of things I want to tighten up, things that I might want to get rid of. But like when it comes out, ultimately, I think it's going to be something really cool that I'm really happy with. I like writing about Zelda a lot. I once wrote a little mini book about Zelda. Maybe it'll come out someday.
Oh man,
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a little like collection of essays about Breath of the Wild. But yeah, that's like the main thing. Listen to Irrational Passions podcast. Subscribe to Book Club. Subscribe to these shows. We do a lot of cool stuff. I promise.
True story.
What about you, Scott?
True story. For me, you can, of course, find me on Twitter at SolidSnake120 and occasionally taking over our Twitch page at twitch.tv/irrationalpassions. You can also find me not only here on Video Game Book Club, but also hosting our RPG University podcast that you can also find on all sorts of podcast services such as Spotify and iTunes and Google Play and all sorts of stuff. By the time this comes out this week, on Thursday, by the time this video version of Book Club comes out this week, you can also hop on over to irrationalpassions.com to check out my full review of Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 3. Also check out my interview I had with Sean Chiplock, the voice of the game's main character, Reen Schwarzer. And the day that comes out, you can also find my beginner's primer on Trails of Cold Steel 3. So look forward to that as well. And I got a bunch of other things I'll be having reviews for and articles on. Ni no Kuni, I'll be having an editorial on that, and recently just released the Ni no Kuni RPG University episode with Mr. Andrew Cogswell, so check that out. And all sorts of other reviews, and then I'm going to take a nap.
Hell yeah.
And it'll be glorious.
A great nap.
That's what you got to look forward to from yours truly. Enjoy the rest of your 2019, and Video Game Book Club will see you again in 2020. Thanks for stopping in, everybody.
Happy Halloween.